I am the voice of ages past, the keeper of sacred tales. You might say I've seen it all from the beginning to, well, not quite the end. And today I have a story for you, a tale of strength, struggle, and redemption. Picture this: a panoramic view of ancient Israel. Once lush fields now lie barren, withering under the scorching sun and the iron fist of Philistine rule. The Philistines ruled with an iron fist, crushing the spirit of God's chosen people under their heel. The air is thick with despair, and the people, well, they've almost forgotten how to hope. "O Lord, hear my cry, deliver your people, we are but dust without your mighty hand." And then, well, something extraordinary happened. An angel appeared. Yeah, you heard that right. An honest-to-goodness angel. "Fear not, daughter of Israel, the child you will bear shall be a Nazirite to God from the womb, and he shall begin to save Israel from the hand of the Philistines." Imagine a being of light, so bright it hurts to look at, yet so beautiful you can't look away. Months pass, and a son is born. They name him Samson, which means little son. And let me tell you, this kid was destined to shine bright. From the moment he opened his eyes, there was something different about him. Even as a toddler, Samson showed signs of the incredible strength that would one day become legendary. "But why can't I cut my hair like the other boys? Why must I be different?" "Son, your hair is a sign of God's strength in you. It's complicated. You're special, Samson. God has chosen you for a great purpose. But I don't want to be special. I want to be like everyone else." But with great power comes great, complication. You see, Samson was a young man with, shall we say, a wandering eye. And his gaze had fallen on a woman from the very people he was destined to fight against. "I have seen a woman in Timnah of the daughters of the Philistines. Now get her for me as my wife. I must have her. Is there not a woman among your own people? Why must you go to the uncircumcised Philistines? Samson, think of your calling. My son, remember who you are. Remember what God has called you to do. Who am I really? A deliverer of Israel, or just a man with desires like any other? Can I not be both? I have made my decision. I will go to Timnah and I will have this woman as my wife. It is what I want." And so begins Samson's internal struggle. A man of God, chosen before birth, yet all too human in his desires. His strength could move mountains, but could it overcome the weaknesses of his own heart? As our hero sets out for Timnah, little does he know the adventures and heartaches that await him. The path of a chosen one is never easy, and Samson's journey, well, it's only just beginning. But that, my friends, is a story for another time. For now, let's pause and reflect on this man, this Samson. A man of contradictions, of strength and weakness, of divine purpose and human frailty. In many ways, he's not so different from you and me. For in Samson's story, we see reflected our own struggles between duty and desire, between the person we're called to be and the person we sometimes want to be. Well, folks, buckle up. Things are about to get interesting. Our boy Samson is off to Timnah, all set to marry his Philistine sweetheart. "Come on then, you mangy beast, let's see what you've got." Samson's muscles bulge, veins popping like rivers on a map. He grabs the lion and I kid you not, he tears it apart with his bare hands. What am I? From the eater, something to eat. From the strong, something sweet. Out of the eater came something to eat, and out of the strong came something sweet. Get the answer from your husband, or we'll burn you and your father's household. Some wedding gift, huh? You don't really love me, you hate me. You've given my people a riddle, but haven't told me the answer. Look, I haven't even explained it to my father or mother. Why should I tell you? If you hadn't plowed with my heifer, you wouldn't have solved my riddle. Samson kills 30 men, takes their clothes, gives them to the ones who explain the riddle. With a donkey's jawbone, I have made donkeys of them. With a donkey's jawbone, I have killed 1,000 men. But victory tastes like ashes in Samson's mouth. I'm so thirsty. Am I now to die of thirst and fall into the hands of the uncircumcised? Time passes, and Samson becomes a judge in Israel. For 20 years, he leads his people. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of another chapter in Samson's life. But oh, there's more to come. Because Samson's greatest challenge, his greatest fall, it's still waiting for him just around the corner. And her name is Delilah. Well, folks, we've seen Samson's strength, we've seen his weakness for women. Now let's see what happens when those two collide in the form of one very dangerous lady. Brace yourselves, because this is where it all comes crashing down. Delilah, my love, you are more intoxicating than any wine I've never tasted. Your eyes, they burn brighter than the stars themselves. Oh, Samson, you flatter me so. But tell me, my strong one, what makes you so powerful? What's your secret? Find out the secret of his strength, Delilah, and we'll each give you 1,100 pieces of silver, enough to set you up for life. Please, Samson, if you truly love me, you'll tell me the secret of your great strength. Don't you trust me? Oh, Delilah, if you really must know, if I'm tied with 7 fresh bowstrings, I'll become as weak as any other man. But why such curiosity, my love? Samson, the Philistines are upon you. You've made a fool of me, Samson. You lied to me. How could you? Did I? Or did you make a fool of yourself by trying to betray me? Why do you keep asking me these things, Delilah? This dance continues, each iteration more intense than the last. Delilah asks, Samson lies, she tries to betray him, he breaks free. It's a twisted game of love and betrayal, each push and pull drawing them closer to the edge of disaster. How can you say you love me when your heart is not with me? You've mocked me 3 times now, Samson, 3 times. No razor has ever touched my head, Delilah. I've been a Nazarite, set apart to God since birth. If my head were shaved, my strength would leave me. I would become as weak as any other man. And with each snip of Samson's 7 braids, you can almost see his strength draining away. It's as if the very essence of who he is, who he was meant to be, is falling to the floor with each lock of hair. The Philistines are upon you, Samson. I'll go out as before and shake myself free. Surely my strength remains. Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani. My God, why have you forsaken me? The Philistines swarm in, seizing Samson with cruel efficiency. We watch in horror as they gouge out his eyes, the screen flashing to black as Samson screams in agony. But don't count Samson out just yet, because even in his darkest hour a spark of hope remains. As he's thrown into a dank prison cell, forced to grind grain like a common animal, we see a close-up of his shorn head. And there, almost too small to notice, Samson's hair has already begun to grow again. Remember, folks, in God's story, it's never truly over until he says it is. As we leave Samson in his cell, blind and broken, it's worth remembering, sometimes it's in our weakest moments that we find our true strength. And Samson, well, his greatest moment is yet to come. Well, folks, here we are, rock bottom. Our once mighty hero Samson, blind and chained, grinding grain in a Philistine prison. It's a far cry from the man who once struck fear into the hearts of his enemies. God of my fathers, I have failed you. I have failed my people. But if you would grant me strength one last time, I swear I will use it for your glory, not my own. Now, while Samson's reconnecting with his faith, the Philistines, they're throwing themselves one heck of a party. And let me tell you, they're not sparing any expense. To Dagon, who delivered our enemy Samson into our hands, may our God's victory be forever remembered. Bring out Samson, let him perform for us. Let us see how the mighty have fallen. From the depths of despair to the heart of his enemy's triumph, Samson makes his final journey. But is it a walk of shame or a march to victory? Lead me to the pillars that support the temple. I would lean against them to rest. Are you sure, my lord? The crowd seems unfriendly. Now, folks, pay attention, because this is where it all changes. The air is thick with anticipation, and even the most drunken reveler can sense that something momentous is about to happen. Oh Lord God, please remember me. Please, God, strengthen me just once more. Let this be my final act in your name. Let me die with the Philistines. Stop him! He's going to bring down the temple! In that moment, as the stones fall and the dust rises, Samson kills more Philistines than he had during his entire life. It's a victory, but at what cost? He was flawed, yes, but in the end, he fulfilled his purpose. He began to deliver Israel from the Philistines, and in death, he accomplished what he could not in life. You know, in many ways, Samson's story is our story. We all have our strengths, our weaknesses. We all struggle with our purpose. But it's in our darkest moments that we often find our true strength.